Live from the Dr. Jerry Henderson Radio Complex, it's time for Card Guys. And now, here's your host, Anthony Schulte.
Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be listening to this program. Thank you, Michael, for the intro as always, and welcome to Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk, Season 2, Episode 14. Coming up today, the Pistons won again. I said the Pistons won again. The Pistons were victorious during our hiatus. We discuss. Also, the Red Wings have lost 5 straight. Do we blame the garbage patch? Plus, a new segment to the Card Guys airwaves. And we cap things off today with a little sports card topic. It's been a while, but we're going back home to the roots of this show. Little sports card talk today. I'm Anthony Schulte. Joining me as always, my man, Ryan Donnelly.
Oppenheimer swept at the Oscars last night. It was good to see.
I didn't even watch the Oscars.
I didn't watch either. I was just keeping up with Twitter. Cillian Murphy won Best Supporting Actor.
Best Cillian of 2024.
Yes. Robert Downey Jr. won, Best... No, Cillian Murphy won Best Actor, and then I think Robert Downey Jr. won Supporting Actor, and then Oppenheimer won Picture of the Year.
At least somebody named Cillian got something good out of it.
Yeah, that's the first successful thing a Cillian has gotten in 2024.
I know it's not sports talk, but Oppenheimer is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it did stuff.
There it is. Just
wanted to shout it out.
Right next to me, Mr. Michael Rosenkranz.
Glad to be back from spring break on the airwaves. Guys, the priority patch curse is a real thing.
No, we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let's start off with some happy time, if you will. The Pistons won again. I said the Pistons won again. Indeed, they did over the Brooklyn Nets. We tried to lose. But we ended up coming out victorious against the Brooklyn Nets. Gentlemen, wins are few and far in between this season. How do we feel about it? And what do you guys make of Detroit Pistons win that, you could be a little bit proud of?
It was a win I did not expect. I thought our next win after the Chicago win would be Charlotte tonight. But Detroit, they shock me every night. We saw a Dennis Schroeder legacy game with 31-8-1 and with 39 minutes. Bro has been balling since he's arrived in Brooklyn. The big superstars for Brooklyn did not show up, like Mikal Bridges and Nick Claxton. They didn't show up at all. Bridges, 13 points, 7 assists, and a rebound. Not great. I mean, Nick Claxton had a double-double, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. But it was their bench guys that came up really clutch, like Dennis Schroeder, like Lonnie Walker. That's really it. Nobody on the Brooklyn Nets showed up. We had a comfortable lead in the first quarter, and then we blew it, like we always do. And then we somehow, I almost said Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, they went off.
I was about to bring that up. Yeah.
Jaden Ivey, 34, 2 and 3. Cade Cunningham, double-double, 32, 11 and 5. They showed up big time late, especially in the fourth quarter. That's what we need. We need those two to perform really well. Mr. Inconsistent showed up really well, which is Jaden Ivey. But everybody did their part. Everybody did well. And then there was Dallas, which we'll talk about later. But other than that, that Brooklyn game was very nice. And I could expect a win tonight against Charlotte because they are shorthanded, which we will talk about in a second.
Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, you took the words out of my mouth. An impressive performance by the future duo. Backcourt duo of this team. I think it's solidified that it is Cade and Ivey's show in the backcourt. I don't think either are a point guard, but if Monty can stagger these guys well, I think the biggest glue guy for these guys when he's staggering these two players is Marcus Sasser, who is a true point guard. And I think people aren't really thinking about it like that, thinking about Marcus Sasser and playing significant minutes for this team. But Marcus Sasser, when he gets the minutes, he can produce. Against Dallas, he had some pretty good numbers. But Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey were staggered in a way we've never seen before. They were staggered in a way that Jaden Ivey played Cade Cunningham played the entire third quarter. Jaden Ivey played the entire fourth quarter. Now, Cade and Jalen closed the game together, but Cade rested to start the fourth quarter. It's a new way of staggering that Monty hasn't tried yet. And he tried it, and it worked. And I think that's what you if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what you got to do every night. He did it against Dallas. There were a lot of other outlying factors in Dallas other than Cade and Jaden Ivey. Cade had a phenomenal game, almost had his first ever triple-double. Would have been a 30-point triple-double at that against Luka. But it's working. We're seeing better play from this new way of staggering the offense that Monty Williams has introduced. And I think we could see 2 All-Stars in Ivey and Cunningham perennially. They could be, I'm not saying they are Clay and Steph, but they could be like Clay and Steph where it's a backcourt that's winning, that's making all-star games together. And it could be extremely fun to watch. If we want to bring up Dallas, I guess we can. It's a game that we want to forget. Jalen Duren had a stinker, to say the least. He had a stinker against Dallas on Saturday. And he let his frustrations out on P.J. Washington, as P.J. Washington's not a big fan of the Detroit Pistons, as he tried to fight Isaiah Stewart at the start of the year, and he tried to fight Jalen Duren during this game. Safe to say he doesn't know who he's trying to fight. He obviously has not watched any Pistons games at all to know that you don't want to mess with Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart. Duren had 6 and 8. Not a good Duren game. He was in foul trouble. He couldn't find the bottom of the net most of the night. Couldn't find his looks either, and he was upset. He was frustrated, throwing things on the bench after he got his second foul in like 2 minutes to start the game, and then he stood on business against P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington tried to go after him, tripped over his own teammate, and Jalen Duren just stood there. He was like, "Okay, buddy, like." What are you doing, PJ? But Cade had a great night. Fontecchio. Can we just talk about how good of a pickup Simone Fontecchio has been for this team?
I think he's really quite underlooked, especially on a struggling Pistons team. Simone Fontecchio has been a really underlooked pickup, at least in my opinion.
Oh, easily. He had 27 points, a career high, on excellent field goal shooting in 32 minutes. Look, Simone Fontecchio came in for Ausar Thompson and brought offense. And I think one of the things that led to the Pistons' loss, it isn't Jaden Ivey with only 17. It isn't Jalen Duren's foul trouble and not being that available to play. By the way, 17 and 12 for James Wiseman. Heck of a week for James Wiseman. If he could continue this play the past couple games that we've been seeing, good backup center. The way he's been playing, good backup center.
There's a quote from Simone Fontecchio. I'll look it up. But he did quote about James Wiseman during the he did quote about James Wiseman at the end of the Dallas game. It was like he's been working really hard in the gym, and the one thing that he does need, and I do agree, is confidence. And he's gotten more confident in his game, and hence the 17 and 10 game he had against Dallas. I was unfortunately there to witness that game. Luka is a crazy good player to see in person. I think my thing about that game is if you were there to see Luka, like just Luka, which was about 75% of LCA, you got your money's worth 1,000%. But if you were like me and my dad and like Troy Weaver, and you were there to actually like watch the Pistons like try and play, yeah, you should ask for a refund because they played like poop.
That's a good way to describe it.
Poop.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Like Monty Williams took out Cade when he had like one rebound left, and everybody was like so like unbelievably mad that he took him out for Malachi Flynn.
Ooh, our good buddy Malachi
Our
Flynn.
good buddy.
Simone, I was watching Pistons live post game in that little half an hour between the Stones and the Wings. And Fontecchio, I remember him saying, every single day since I've been here, Wiseman's been in the gym getting extra reps. And I think a big player in that is Taj Gibson. I think ever since Taj Gibson got here, Wiseman's been playing well. I think it's the leadership, it's the veteran savvy, and it's Gibson at practice giving him confidence.
It's the reason why we signed him.
Yep, it's the reason why we put him on a 10-day, because we needed some. He might not play, but he's helping the team in a big way with his leadership and his veteran presence, and it can't go unnoticed. I've seen on Twitter the beat writers talking about Taj Gibson and his leadership. I've seen videos of his leadership at practice. It's great to see, because I truly do love this team. I truly do want this group of guys to start winning ball games, and to get into a point that I was going at earlier. Asar Thompson, when he was guarding Luka had like 3 turnovers, 5 points on 33% shooting, and then Asar had to leave due to an illness at the end of the first, beginning of the second, and then Luka went off. I think that just shows all the pieces are here. You have your 2 scorers in the backcourt, Ivy, Cunningham. You have your backup point guard that could be a serviceable point guard. Think Leandro Barbosa for a winning team. I pulled that one out.
Wow.
You have your defensive-minded wing that can learn offense. That's Asar Thompson. You have your intimidating presence that could play good defense, that could stand up for anybody, Isaiah Stewart. You have your double-double machine. Think a mature Andre Drummond that could shoot free throws, Jalen Duren. You have all the pieces you need to win here. You just need to bring in more Simone Fontecchios, more veteran leadership, and attract people to Detroit. And you could have something special here. You really could. All the pieces are here. We're looking at them develop right now. 2 to 3 years, you could be seeing a team that is very promising. Next year, it could be an Orlando Magic type year, a Sacramento Kings type year, where you're a young team, nobody expected anything of you, and shoo, there you go. Right up the standings. The East is easier right now, too. You'd rather be in the East than the West. The West is an absolute dogfight. Like, the 5th or 6th seed in the East wouldn't even be in the playoffs, or wouldn't even be in, like, the top 6 guaranteed playoffs in the West, which is crazy to think about. But it's the truth. But the Pistons, they won against the Nets. That's all you can ask for. Sadly, the Wizards are winning, too. And we were the 14th seed for a little bit. And then the Wizards are like, no, let's go on a winning streak. And now we still have more wins than you. Hopefully the Pistons can match them tonight with their 11th win.
It's the fact that Monty Williams found out about staggering. That's why we're doing so well.
It's unlocked everything.
He found it. And also, we got to talk about Troy Weaver.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Troy Weaver almost beat
what
the
are we
crap out
doing?
of a fan on Saturday. Basically, the fan had to tell him he's not wrong, but the way that Troy Weaver acted, he had to hide behind a security guard saying, kick him out, kick him out.
He also said, and I quote, expletive, I'm going to beat your expletive to a fan.
And then he said that, and then he had to hide behind a security guard because he told the truth.
Well,
You suck at your job.
Both parties are in the wrong, in my opinion. Both parties are in the wrong. Initially, I was like, oh yeah, that fan's speaking the truth. After a lot of careful thought and consideration, both parties are in the wrong. One, Troy Weaver should not be, as a wise man once said, if you can't handle the heat, don't be in the kitchen. Right? You have to think that because of what is such a dumpster fire that this season is, if you are in the people, you're with the fans are going to be drunk, fans are going to be rowdy in that environment. Apparently this happened after the Duren ejection, so fans are riled up. You can't expect for this not to happen. If you're going to be in the stadium, if you're going to be with the fans, you need to let it go. If a fan's saying something, you're making more money than he'll ever see. You're working with an NBA team. Let it go. Don't react. Because if you react, it's just be a bad look on you. And it exactly was a bad look on Troy Weaver. The fan, however, wasn't in the right either. Who are you to go up to Troy Weaver and heckle him? if on the street, if you're just walking, you're minding your business, and someone walks up to you because they saw you work at Taco Bell and they didn't give you your extra red sauce, and you heckle that person and say you're garbage at your job and throw expletives at them, you'd stand up for yourself, wouldn't you? It's a two-way street, and I think both parties are in the wrong. The fans should not have heckled Troy Weaver, whether he's right or not, whether Troy Weaver has been underwhelming in his performance or not. The fans shouldn't have walked up to him and tried calling him out without expecting to get thrown out. Look, you're heckling a team official. You're going to get thrown out. But if you're Troy Weaver, you can't react like that. Mm-hmm. You can't show that reaction because, one, that's the reaction he wanted. That's why there's a video. He wanted the clicks. That's one thing. Two, you can't let the trolls win and get to you. That's one thing I've learned over my 19 years, almost 20 years of life. You cannot let the negativity and trolls get to you to a point at which you're overreacting and stepping a boundary. I would not be surprised if Troy Weaver's not fired because of his performance in the front office, but because he said he was going to hurt a fan. You can't do that. That's a big no-no.
You know who else has tried and thrown hands at others? I'll give you a hint. He recently is coaching an 8-20 basketball team at the University of Michigan. He tried to throw hands at other coaches and other training staff. Look, there you go.
I wonder who that could be.
I wonder.
We're all deep in thought over
and
here,
he
folks.
hasn't been fired yet. I gotta throw it in.
You know? Yeah. I mean,
can't say we blame you.
Can't say we blame you. But the Pistons
didn't let his seniors get a win on senior night.
Yeah.
That's sad. And now he has a 14th seed in the Big Ten.
Just a couple things about this whole Troy Weaver exchange. Took the words out of my mouth. There's a time and a place for everything, and that time is not warranted. Trolls cannot go after a team official. I get that this season's a dumpster fire. You still can't heckle a team official like that. And for the fan perspective, he's probably thinking, oh, Troy Weaver got what he deserved. But at the same time, if you're going to a venue, just be there and just enjoy the game.
well,
I get
to the most of your ability. Sometimes you can't enjoy this team.
Yes, that is true. And here's a quick question for you about this whole James Wiseman thing. Would you expect the Pistons to re-sign Taj Gibson for this leadership for James Wiseman? Because he's been getting confidence and reps in the gym, and it's paying off for him.
I'd say sign him to like an assistant role, not like as a player because he's like 37.
I was going to
I'd say
an
sign
assistant,
him, like an assistant coach.
but I think the leadership is coming on the court in practice. I think it's when he's on the court getting reps too in practice. I think you give him a 1-year deal for next year. You keep him here for training camp. You keep him here for the offseason. You have him work with the bigs over the offseason. Sign him for the rest of the year. Sign him for next year. He retires a Piston. And his last hurrah, his final season or whatever, he might not play. He'll like Udonis Haslem. You're rostered, you suit up every night, but you barely play if you do. And you're just there for practice and being a veteran voice and being a leader. I think he could play a Udonis Haslem role, to a lesser extent, of course. He's not Udonis Haslem for this city or this team, but he could play that same role. So to answer your question, I think we could. It just depends on, does Taj Gibson want to spend his final year in Detroit?
Fair enough. And here's one more thing. I just have a few questions for you about the Pistons, since you're the Pistons guru around here. In kind of looking with Marcus Sasser and Simone Fontecchio, I think you want to get Marcus Sasser as a point guard.
Yeah.
But you also have the veteran shooting in Simone and Fontecchio. Now, I know he's a forward.
Yeah.
But I think Simone Fontecchio does have that range, even though he's a forward. Could you see Simone Fontecchio playing a guard position, potentially?
I don't think so because he's such a big body, and he doesn't have the what's the word, the loose body,
kind of the athleticism.
Yeah, he has athleticism, but he doesn't have like the loose athleticism that a guard would need, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain. He's a big body. He plays like a big, and I think that's where he's best suited. Could I see him play tall ball 2? Maybe, if you're playing Sasser next to him. But I think he's better suited as a forward, just with the way he moves, the way he operates, and the way he's built. I guess that's the way I could put it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. And I think the word you might be looking for is agility. Like,
yes.
He may be a little less agile on his feet, especially when matched up with a guard. Because, I mean, usually point guards and shooting guards are going to be far more agile than a big forward. So that's, I think, where Simone Fontecchio does struggle. But he does have that veteran presence. He does have that veteran shooting, which I'm absolutely loving right now. Simone Fontecchio has been a sleeper player on the Pistons, in my opinion.
Even though it's his second year, technically, in the NBA, he's 28. He's played a lot overseas, in Italy, a lot of FIBA, so he's been around the block when it comes to basketball. I'd consider him a veteran presence.
Oh, yeah.
I would. Even though he's technically only a 2-year NBA guy, he's been around pro basketball for such a long time that, he knows how to win. He knows how to play. So that's what I'll say about that. Detroit beating Brooklyn 118-112 on Thursday and falling to the Mavericks 142-124 on Saturday. The Hornets are on the clock tonight with, on Wednesday, 3-1-3 day against the Raptors, where Raptors fans will infiltrate our beautiful Little Caesars Arena, and we will lose a home game to the Raptors fans. Moving on to what we could consider the Dead Wings. The Wingers.
I can't believe the Dead Wings just came out of your mouth, man.
It's tough here. Last time we spoke with y'all, last time we were on the air, we were happy. The Red Wings. We were talking about them potentially moving into the top 3 seed over Toronto. We come back at y'all, and we're fighting for the second wild card spot and barely hanging in there. What happened when we were gone? Maybe we need to be on the air. Maybe we can't take any more weeks off, because then the Red Wings are just going to lose. They started this losing streak. I don't know if you're going to call it a coincidence. I don't know if you're going to say it's all makes sense. Ever since they added Priority Waste, a garbage company, to the famous and coveted Red Wing sweater, they have lost 5 in a row. I saw a term on Twitter. I saw a saying on Twitter. Someone said this on Twitter. You don't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley. And that's exactly what the Red Wings did.
Wow.
You don't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley. You don't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari. You don't do it. That's what the Red Wings did. 0-5. Shall we go through these losses, gentlemen?
I guess so.
Shall we do this? Because I don't know if I want to, but here we go. We last saw y'all when was our last show?
The last show was the Capitals game. The first loss was the Islanders.
Yep. So literally, it's right when we went off the air. We started going on a little skid. The Islanders beat us at home 5-3. We're like, okay, rough loss, but let's bounce back. You're not going to win every single game, even the games you're supposed to win. Then you got the Panthers at home. I was at the Cruz and Mir restaurant in Clarkston during this shutout. The Red Wings get shut out at home, which you're probably thinking, what? Red Wings shut out at home? The team that averages 3.5 goals a game? Yeah, shut out at home to a contender, but nonetheless out. What what's the word I'm looking for?
Outplayed,
They were
outscored.
out-physicaled. That's not a. It's not a word.
Card Guy's word of the day: out-physical.
Out-physical.
You know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like contenders just play more physical, and we can't match the physicality of these contending teams. And obviously, we're not physical with anybody right now. Red Wings lose 4-0 to the Panthers. Then we go to Denver, and we wish we never did. 7-2 blowout to the rivals, the Avalanche.
We did keep it close at the end of the first. It was like a tie, and
You
then
got
all
to
of
play
a sudden
60 minutes of hockey, though.
and then all of a sudden we just died.
Yep.
Yeah, second period, the Avs came alive, and it was over. I kind of... I was listening on the radio that night, and once it got to the point where it was 3-2, I was just like, okay, it's still a 1-goal difference. And they got 4-2.
Yeah.
That's like, it's getting a little more difficult. Then 5-2, I was just like, you know what? I don't think I can listen to this anymore. 3 unanswered goals. We're in a really bad spot. Avs have been unstoppable at home. So I just decided to head to sleep for the night and
do better with your evening.
Exactly. By the way, what'd you get at Deer Lake Inn?
I got the fettuccine.
Oh, very nice.
Oh yeah, it was delicious. It was it was from my mom's birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was really good.
Yeah,
that was a good
Deer
dinner.
Lake Inn in Clarkston is one of my all-time favorites. Myself and my brothers biked there during the summer.
You like their bread?
Oh, their
Oh
bread.
yeah,
Their
the Cruise
bread
and
is
Mirror bread.
outstanding.
Yep.
See, I don't live where they live.
I tell you, Anthony, I could eat that bread all day.
We take home extra loaves.
There
See,
you go.
We make that stuff last.
So
Yes, sir.
I live in a small town called Fraser, Michigan. It's about 30 minutes away from them, so I'm relatively close to Deer Lake Inn. But I don't even know a good Italian restaurant near me.
It's not even. I don't even say it's necessarily Italian. They just have good pasta.
Yeah, it's not an Italian joint. They kind of have a little bit of everything.
They do. They had a New Orleans. I had some hush puppies. And their hush puppies were pretty good.
I mean, we have Vintage
That
House.
sounds really good.
I'm just hungry right now.
I can't wait for the bagel sandwich from Dine and Connector. For
That's
this.
actually good,
It's
too.
good.
That's
I'm
actually good.
so excited.
I usually get an omelet from Dine and Connect. I haven't done the breakfast sandwiches yet, but maybe y'all are
They're so
convincing
good.
me.
They're really good.
I think we all need to go to Deer Lake Inn.
I think so.
I would totally agree.
I want that
do-
fettuccine again.
Do we film
Yeah.
an episode of Card Guys at the Deer Lake Inn?
I don't know if we'd be able to get clearance for that. We could try, though. But yeah, no, Deer Lake Inn is incredible.
It is.
I did enjoy that, and shout out to my mom and dad, because they like shout-outs. Moving on to another 4-0 shutout. Why did we keep losing 4-0? This wasn't a contender. This is the... Come here. The Arizona Coyotes that play in an arena that is equal to Big Boy Arena in Fraser. An arena that is for an NCAA hockey team. They don't even have their own arena. They are garbage. They're not good. They're not a good hockey team. We can agree. They're not a good hockey team.
No.
4-0. 4-0? This is turning into an ASMR stream. 4-0. Really? 4-0. 4-0. I watched that game. 4-0. I had to turn it off when it was 2-0 because it was terrible. And then it was 3-0. And I was like, well, I might as well just do something else with my night because, good golly, 4-0 to the Coyotes. All right. I don't even think we need to discuss that. I think we just need to leave it in the back. And then the Golden Knights. At least we were competitive. Mm-hmm. At least we were competitive. I watched most of this game. Golden Knights put together a couple goals towards the end. Red Wings tied it. Gostisbehere?
Yes. Gostisbehere tied it.
Tied it at 3. And then we kind of crumbled like a dry cookie in the summer heat. Just sand in the hourglass. It's the days of our Red Wings. It's rough. 10 days ago, the Red Wings were on top of the world. We were in a comfortable playoff position with a cushion. That cushion was taken to us like we were on an airplane. No more cushion. You got to pay $10 for a cushion. We couldn't cough up to $10. We couldn't. And now, 5-game losing streak. Garbage patch? I blame you. I blame the garbage patch.
I blame it on really poor goaltending. Oh wait, we're not doing ASMR anymore. Sorry, I blame it on.
Oh my goodness!
This is going to be so weird when we go back and
Guys,
I'm not
today.
looking forward to that.
It's early. There's your catchphrase.
It's early. It's 8 a.m.
It's 8:30.
It's actually 8:27 a.m.
It's 8:26. First of all,
It's 8:27.
It just
Not on my-
changed over to 27.
Oh, it just changed
It just changed over to 27.
Okay. Anyways, I blame it
It's
on
9:27 in Nova Scotia.
Wow.
There you go.
It's 5:27 Pacific Standard Time.
Man, it's 7:27 Central Standard Time in
Chicago.
No way that just happened.
That's happened like 2 times now. We're going to say the same thing while looking at each other. This is kind of
All right.
weird.
Okay.
Oh, my
Okay.
gosh.
Anyways,
There's a coincidence
That's a
there.
coinky dink right there.
anyways, I blame it on not resting Lion. Lion hasn't been great at all. Reimer, I don't think, has played a bit.
Didn't he play? Wasn't he in net for the Golden Knights game?
He was, yes.
He was?
Yes, Reimer was
I
in
didn't
that
watch.
for Vegas game.
I watched for maybe a period at best. I did not
Yeah.
watch a lot of Wings over the. I watched the Coyotes game. I turned it off after 1-0. But let's take a look at Lion. Lion and Reimer the past 5 games.
Reimer did start off the game pretty well.
He did.
He was very impressive to start off the game.
Alex Lyon, 22 for 26 and an 8.46 save percentage against the Islanders. He got pulled so we can have the extra man on the ice at the end of the game. At the end of the game. Alex Lyon against the Florida Panthers. 33 for 37 on an 8.92 save percentage. Not too shabby. However, he gave up 4 goals.
We don't have a soundboard yet.
Alex Lyon, 35 for 40. 8.75 save percentage, giving up 5 goals up. And
Frank
then
the Tank moment.
And then he sucks. We brought in James Reimer. 12 for 14, 8.57 save percentage. It would have been higher if he played more, and he gave up 2 goals. Dude, well, we only got 2 more, folks. Bear with me. Alex Lyon, Arizona Coyotes. 20
I think all
for
you have to
24.
say is Arizona Coyotes.
20 for 24, an 8.33 save percentage, and 4 goals given up. And
To
then,
a team that lost 14 straight.
And then
They're
Derek,
the Pistons of the NHL.
and then Derek
really
Lalonde
are.
realized, hey, Lions sucked the past 4 games. Let's bring in James Reimer. 31 for 35, 8.86 save percentage, and 4 goals given up. If you're a goalie in the NHL, you're looking for a 9 or higher save percentage. None of those were 9. The closest we got was an 8.9.
That's pretty close.
It's safe to say goaltending has been lackluster. And to be fair, that has been our problem all year.
I think it's more the defensive side of things. I'd say it's more the defensive side of the ice that's a little lackluster. I mean, yes, the goaltending needs to be better. Obviously, they're the ones that are ultimately giving up the goals, but I think the defense and the physicality just needs to be better, especially against these good teams. You're not playing good defense. It's been a problem all year. You're not being physical enough. It's been a problem against contenders all year, and look what happens. Now you got to work even harder. I think what we haven't brought up was the loss of Larkin. I think that's big too.
Out for 2 weeks.
He'll be back next week, or I think later this week he'll be back, if not early next
He'll
week.
be checked out middle of this week.
Yeah. So hopefully he comes back and he can start, leading this club to a couple. We need victories. Look, we got the Coyotes at our house. Revenge. Hang 8 on them. Revenge.
I would love
Coyotes,
to see that.
Thursday at home. You got the Sabres twice. It's a Sabre Coyote sandwich. You got Sabre Coyote, Sabre, Sandwich. You need to win all three of those hockey games right there. You need to win all three of those. And then you got the Penguins. That'll be a good game. Then you got the Blue Jackets. You need to win that. Islanders need to win that. Predators need to win that. Capitals need to win that. You can rattle off some wins.
We got a very easy schedule. We had our very tough stretch of really bad road games.
You don't want to hear this stretch. Hurricanes, Panthers, Lightning, Rangers.
I lied. We're not making the playoffs.
That's in late March into April, and then we cap off the season. Sabres, Capitals, Penguins, Leafs, Canadians.
Gotta win against the Penguins. Gotta win against the Capitals. Gotta win against the Sabres.
You gotta go on a little stretch here. If you want to get into the playoffs, and if I'm Derek Lalonde, I'm saying this. If you want to get in the playoffs, we need to rattle off some wins. Write me out. You need to rattle off some wins. These are teams you can't not take seriously. You need to take these teams seriously, and you need to pull off some wins. It's just what needs to happen if you want a chance at making the playoffs. You lose these games, even half of these games, and these other teams are slowly creeping their way back in. I think a big deciding game is going to be that Lightning game on April Fool's Day. In Tampa, a battle of potentially the two wild card spots. I think that'll be the game, the game to look out for, the game to circle on our calendar.
I saw a little tidbit on Instagram from a dear account that I tune into, Red Wings coverage. You do an awesome job. Shout out to you.
I do follow.
I do follow you too.
There's a little tidbit that after these 5 losses, the Red Wings now went the high 70s to making the playoffs. Now they're down to 65% chance. And their record that they need to get, at best, in these last games, is 10, 8, and 1. I don't think you're going to beat the Penguins. They're a solid team. Just my honest opinion. I don't think you'll beat the Penguins.
I see 8 losses.
And I don't think you're going to beat the Panthers at their place. Hurricanes at their place is going to be tough, too.
I see 8 losses. When I'm looking at this, I see 8 losses. I think we could squeeze out a playoff. I think it's a failure and disappointment of the season if we don't. I think the leaders in that locker room need to step up. The leaders need to take control of this club on the ice. And the Red Wings just need to put together a better brand of hockey, because what we've seen recently is not great. But the Red Wings, they lost 5-3 against the Golden Knights. Go ahead.
Just a couple more tidbits with me for the Red Wings. Steve Yzerman, to some, might have been quiet at the trade deadline. He's trying to build depth in Grand Rapids. Now, I know that's not really that sense of urgency that fans wanted. You wanted to try and get a defenseman, a veteran defenseman, if even that, to get you back in the win column possibly. Steve wants to take things slow, build things up in Grand Rapids because he's confident with the depth. But I think that's how you need to do it. You need to build up your prospect pool as much as you can. I think we have the second best prospect pool in the NHL.
I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I believe you.
And here's one more thing about the Red Wings that quite honestly scares me. My dad and I went to see them unite last year against the Tampa Bay Lightning, where Andrei Vasilevsky put on a show and at LCA and shut us out 3-0. That was the game that started the collapse late February, early March. For Red Wings fans, this is deja vu. You do not want to see a collapse early March, and losing 5 in a row like this is tough. Mm-hmm. Red Wings need to get back into the win column. I think they can do it against the Sabres. Sabres have been playing really, really good hockey recently, but I really think that they can do it against the Sabres. Everybody needs to step up, put the pieces together, and got to get back in this win column 100%.
I think
if you don't, we are in a lot of trouble.
I think my 2 cents is you got to beat Buffalo. It's going to be tough because you're in Buffalo, but I think, like you said, like last year, this is deja vu. Every year it feels like we go on a very bad slump in early March. But if you remember earlier in the year, we went on a very bad losing streak, and then we picked it right back up. I think we'll either pick it up against Buffalo tomorrow or Arizona at home on Thursday. Do we play the Penguins twice at their place? Yeah, we do. The last 2 times. That caught me off guard. Sorry, but we got a very, I don't want to say easy, but we have a very easy schedule up until March 28th. You got the Sabres twice. You got the Penguins, who are on almost the same level as us. The only thing that they have is age, and they age like fine wine, and I'm scared of that. They got the Penguins at home. We got the Islanders at home again. We got Predators at their place. We got the Caps. And then you got, again, the Hurricanes, the Panthers, the Lightning, all at their place. And then you got the Rangers at our place, which we did beat them earlier in the year. Then we got Buffalo at our place. And then we got a lot of home games left. I think got to win 10 games. I do see 8 losses. However, if you want to make the playoffs, you got to split against the Abs at the end of the year, against the Canadiens. Can we do it? I don't know. But we need Larkin back. We need better goaltending. We need veteran leadership to stand up. We need to win 10 games. The Canadiens are going to be tough, especially on a back-to-back to end off the year, but I think we can do it.
All right, so the Red Wings, they lose 5-3 to the Golden Knights. Before we get into our next topic, I have some breaking news.
From
the desk of Adam Schefter.
Okay.
Oh, my.
The Detroit Lions are re-signing guard Graham Glasgow to a 3-year, $20 million deal.
I love it.
$9.5 million
Huge.
Guaranteed.
Very nice.
Got to re-sign Jonah Jackson.
Very
now.
nice.
It's a good way to start off this free agency. Now, we could be getting more news regarding free agency, as technically hasn't started yet, but it's starting today. Some other news, Mitch Morse is signing a 2-year deal with the Jaguars, and Zaire Franklin is re-signing with the Colts to an extension.
Did y'all also hear about Russell Wilson?
Yes,
He
Russell
signed
Wilson
to
to
the
the
Steelers. What? That's something that
Yeah.
was not on my bingo card, but he'll probably be QB1 and
It's going to be I want Hard Knocks to go to Pittsburgh because I want to see this QB battle play out between Kitten Mittens and Danger Russ.
And also, don't forget Rudolph, the turnover machine reindeer.
Well, he's probably going to leave. He's a free agent.
Oh.
He's not going to. Look, if he's smart, his agent's going to be like, look, dude, you're not winning that QB battle. Just go somewhere else.
Hey,
Yeah.
Washington needs one.
Dude, a lot of teams need one.
Washington and Denver, I feel like, are 2 teams that are most likely going to sign Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, I think Denver could be a good suitor for him. But a new segment is coming to Card Guys right now. We're calling it Card Guys Debate, where I bring up a question and the guys debate. The question today that we are going to have, it's regarding the Detroit Lions, which, thank you, Shefty, for breaking that, because that was a perfect segue. As we all know, the Lions need help at corner, and we need help opposite Hutch. And on that defensive line with Hutch. We need the help there. I think interior needs work. I think the opposite edge needs work, and the cornerback room needs work. Here's the question. And the question was stemmed from a listener. Shout out on Twitter to Detroit Sports 16 ACTV_lax16 for the question suggestion. If you want to send questions, either hit us up on Twitter at CardGuysShow, send us a message, or email us cardguyshow@gmail.com. We will take questions there for us to debate. The question today, Sneed or Hunter? L'Jarius Sneed or Danielle Hunter? Who should the Lions target? Now, the implications with both of these players are different. You'd have to trade and sign and trade for Sneed, and you would need Danielle Hunter to sign here in free agency. So you're going through the trade market, free agency market. Who should the Lions target? I have who I want us to target. Some numbers. Detroit ranks 27th in NFL pass defense with 247 pass yards per game allowed. But We are first in hurries, which is a stat that surprised me. The Lions were first in hurries, but 23rd in sacks. I go with L'Jarius Sneed because the one thing that I noticed all season that we needed help with was stopping the pass game. The bleeding that came from the pass game, or the pass defense, I should say pass game, pass defense, that's what lost us some ball games. And I think L'Jarius Sneed not only adds a veteran, not only adds a winner, but it adds an extremely talented player. He's a winner, he knows how to win, he's been in those situations before. He is a mature leader on a defense. He'd be perfect as cornerback 1 in Detroit. Will Danielle Hunter be great? Yes, he'd be great. He'd know how to play the Vikings too, as he practices against the Vikings every day for his entire career. But I think L'Jarius Sneed is a player that the Lions should really, really try to get. What the package looks like, I don't know. But I think it's L'Jarius Sneed.
I disagree. I think it'll be Danielle Hunter.
Oh, really?
I do agree. Danielle Hunter, really good year. 4 forced fumbles, 16.5 sacks, which is 5th in the NFL. He knows how to beat the Vikings because he did play for the Vikings. He's 29 years old, and dude's a stud. And plus, he is a free agent this year, so we wouldn't have to we wouldn't have to get rid of anybody unless people want to leave. I think what the perfect offseason for the Lions, which is re-sign Glasnow, which we just did, legitimately just 5 minutes ago we just did. Re-sign Jonah Jackson, get a guard, get a defensive lineman to help out Hutch, and then draft a corner. I think the perfect position that we're at right now, we could get a guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry in the draft. We're so good
but you want a veteran at corner, though.
I know. We re-signed Emmanuel Mosley.
I don't know if you could trust in him, though. Sneed had 10 interceptions last season, and he is also 27 years of age. So he's younger, and he fits a bigger need on our defense.
But what would we give up for Sneed? A lot.
I don't know if it would be a lot, though, because he might not re-sign. It really depends. If they're allowing him to go into the trade market, I don't think it'll. See, I'm really bad with football picks and what's valuable. NBA, I could tell you what's valuable. Football, I could make a best estimated guess. I'm pretty sure we could give up maybe a good little pick haul, maybe a young player. Maybe we'd have to give up. Maybe we'd have to give up on. Oh my goodness, why is his name blanking from me? Oh my goodness. Oh, come on. Kendall Vindor.
Oh, yeah. Get rid of him.
Kendall Vildor, the Amazon tablet himself.
The Amazon tablet.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would be so happy to get rid of him.
The trade package, I don't know what it would be.
It'd be a lot.
It would be a lot, but it would be worth it.
I know, but I think Sneed wants to re-sign because he just won a ring, and he wants to be either he wants to ring chase or he knows the system that
but Kansas City can't pay him the money. We can pay him the money. That's the thing. He got his championships, you're right. Now he wants the payday. Kansas City just signed Chris Jones. They're not bringing back Sneed. They can't for the money that he wants. Detroit can give him the money he wants.
I just think Danielle Hunter. We need our best defensive player for the Lions by far is Aiden Hutchinson. We need a veteran presence to help him out, ease off a little weight for
I
Aiden
agree
Hutchinson.
with that.
And Danielle Hunter, who's 29, he's had 16 sacks last year. I think he could elevate Hutch because he takes off so much pressure. And plus, I don't think he'll cost as much as L'Jarius Sneed. You'll probably sign him to definitely like a $90 million deal. But Sneed's going to cost way more, I think, if we want to.
I think he costs more, but I think it's just worth it in the end because you can find those veteran leaders on a defensive line somewhere else. And Sneed brings so much help to the cornerback room. If you keep Cam Sutton, you have Emmanuel Mosley. The 1-2-3 punch of Sneed, Sutton, Mosley, that's perfect, in my opinion. I think that works very well. and then you have the safety help, and then we have one of the best safety rooms in the NFL, in my opinion. I think that's perfect. And I get Danielle Hunter. That's why I love the question so much, because I think both help us, and there's both positives and negatives to both players. But I just think Sneed's better.
I'm trying to see through the eyes of both players. L'Jarius Sneed, he is a heck of a corner. I'm looking at a little tidbit here from Next Gen Stats on X. He had a 72.5% coverage success rate, which is first in the NFL in the regular season last year. 0 touchdowns allowed with a minimum of 25 targets, tied for first. And the thing that I took away from you, Anthony, is the pass defense. He only allowed 4 yards per target.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think L'Jarius Sneed, he excels a lot in zone coverage. Now with Danielle Hunter, a defensive line with Aiden Hutchinson and Danielle Hunter is going to be frightening.
Exactly.
Is going to be frightening.
It'll be the next big 1-2 punch in the NFL.
But here's the thing about Danielle Hunter. He's projected, I think, to make about $20 million next season. Could Brad Holmes crunch the numbers to possibly make it work? That's the big thing that I'm trying to see with Danielle Hunter. And here's another thing. If we re-sign Graham Glasgow, which we just did, are you willing to pay money to Jonah Jackson or let him walk in free agency? Because L'Jarius Sneed, you're going to have to sign for a lot of money if he wants to come to Detroit. Same with Danielle Hunter. I mean, he's projected to make $20 million next year. So this is a really tough question. This is a great question.
It is really tough. Like I'd be so happy with either or, but I do think Danielle Hunter is a better pick, and it's because it's a very weak pass rush class when it comes to both free agency and the draft, but it's a very strong corner draft. Cooper DeJean, he's going to go top 10.
Really?
I think so. PFF has him ranked on the big board number 8.
That's a take.
Wow.
Nate Wiggins, PFF has him 13. Terry and Arnold, out of Alabama.
I like him.
Terry and Arnold,
I'd
solid.
be so happy if the Lions either draft McKinstry or Terry and Arnold.
Two McKinstrys in Detroit.
Or if we can trade up, that is true. Or we see me product. Or if we can trade up to that like 15 or 14 spot and we can pick like Cooper DeJean, that'd be beautiful. But I think build through the draft, get Danielle Hunter.
To answer the question, I'm going to have to go with L'Jarius Sneed. In my mind, it would make possibly a little more sense to some to give up a top 100 pick. Now, I know Jackson Powers Johnson is another name, too, that's been floating out there as well. If you give up a top 100 pick, you're going to keep the same chemistry with the same players you had last season. Re-sign Jonah Jackson, re-sign C.D. Deuce, and then that chemistry would still be there. Would Danielle Hunter want to come to Detroit a season later? I wouldn't think so. But at the same time, Aiden Hutchinson does need help.
He does.
I can really see it both ways, but I think I got to go with L'Jarius Sneed on this one.
Yeah.
As much as I agree with your takes about Danielle Hunter, Ryan, both are very, very solid players. This is a very tough question. I think I just have to go with L'Jarius Sneed.
I'll close it with this. Would we rather have a young project at cornerback when we're trying to win games and we're trying to contend, or would you rather have a proven winner? Use your draft picks wisely. You can draft L'Jarius Sneed technically. You have to pay him. You could use your draft pick to get him, and I think it's worth it. A lot of people might say it's not. A lot of people might say, "Why wouldn't you go youth? Your team is so young." A magical draft like Brad Holmes has had the last 2 times doesn't happen every year. We've gotten extremely lucky. I would rather have the proven winner that can come into this locker room as a proven winner, a proven guy that would help this defense immensely. That's what I'll leave it at. It's a great question. Thank you for the question. Send in questions. We like this. We'll do this a lot more often.
That was very fun.
Yes, it was.
Although I'm from a debate topic, I do want Danielle Hunter, but by no means I'd be very, very, very happy if we got legit.
And I'd be likewise. I'd be happy with Hunter.
I'm not
solid
saying
with either or.
I'm not like to put a button on it. I just want to.
I just like to put a button on it.
I just like to say that was a nice shot by LeBron. Anyways, I would be very happy with both. However, I'd rather have Danielle Hunter, but by no means I will be ecstatic if we got L'Jarius Sneed.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to move on quickly to finish off the show here. This is Card Guys. We like cards. So I beg the question. Favorite cards in your collection?
Ooh.
Now, I was going to bring mine in for sort of a show and tell, but I was rushed this morning. I woke up a little bit on the late side. Daylight or spring forward
I hate
has really messed with me.
hot take.
So
well, it's not really that hot, but daylight savings is overrated.
Yeah. I don't like it. It messes with my sleep schedule, and I woke up a little late this morning. Also, just getting back to school, getting into the swing of things. I forgot it. Long story short, I forgot the card. But I have two favorite cards in my collection. I'll get the ball rolling here. I have a Cade Cunningham personal collection myself. 133 cards now. I added cards, if you remember. We went to go pick them up.
We did.
The other day. Or is 134? My math isn't mathing.
How many Ks did you get when we went?
135. I have 135. Sorry, I had to do a little mental math there. 135 cards in my Cade PC. I have two favorites. I consider them by both my prized possessions. A tiger print Cade Cunningham from college, a rare, extremely rare. I have the only one that's ever been on an eBay market. Variation at that. It's a variation card. Tiger print color match with his college uniform. Cade Cunningham. It's a super short print. Very nice card. One of my favorites. And then I have a Cade Cunningham RPA. Rookie patch auto for those of you folks that may not be aware of what an RPA is. Rookie patch auto, the three most valuable things in sports cards: a rookie card, a patch card, an autograph card, in one. RPA. My Cade Cunningham RPA. Those are my two prized possessions. Those are my two favorite cards.
My two favorite cards, I recently traded in for this one. Originally, it was a Gunnar Henderson 2021 PSA 10 pink prism.
That you pulled yourself.
That I pulled myself out of 199. But, however, shout out Miller's Sports Cards here in Mount Pleasant.
Miller's is amazing. Go to Miller's
we love
for your
it.
sports cards.
I spent
Not a paid promo.
Half my money has gone to Miller's.
A lot of money's going to Miller's.
A lot of my money's going to Miller's. If cards didn't exist, I'd be rich. But let's. They recently had a card show about a month ago. I traded that card in for a Jason Tatum rated rookie Disco Prism PSA 9.
Nice.
I'm looking for trades. If anybody is open for trades for that Jason Tatum,
really?
Yeah, I'm open for trades.
Okay,
but
good to know.
If you are in the card world and collects Jason Tatum and would like to trade for Jason Tatum, rated rookie Disco Prism, I have one PSA 9. By all means, take it or leave it. And then I also have 5 rookie Victor Wembanyama's. I have a rookie patch. I have a taken flight or now arriving card. I have 2 bases, and then I have one more. I don't remember the last one. License plate, welcome to San Antonio, Snowy Wemby.
Yes, you did.
That is my favorite card. My favorite Wemby card, at least. But I mostly collect basketball and baseball. I have a Wemby personal collection. And
there it is.
There you go.
I don't have too many sports cards on the other hand, but one of the ones that sticks out to me is I remember finding this really sort of vintage in my mind, even though I'm not sure it's entirely worth the value. Mickey Mantle, kind of the pictures, kind of him, diving towards the first baseline to go to foul ball. I mean, I think it's just really cool to see, especially a all-around player in Mickey Mantle,
yeah,
like that. And one of the another cards that sticks out to me is actually in my mom's collection, a rookie Steve Yzerman card.
Wow.
Stevie Y.
Back when Stevie Y was in his prime in the 80s, and it's so funny now. Shout out to you, Mom. Over spring break, I went to see my grandma, and I was just, catching her up to speed on all the things we were doing, and, just talking about the show and talking about all the things that we talk about. And my grandma went, I just remember your mom being so infatuated with Steve Yzerman. And I mean, it's Stevie Y, great guy, great all-around player, and looking at that rookie card, it's sweet.
That's a cool card.
It really, really is. I love Stevie Y's rookie card, and hopefully he can turn this Red Wings program around. But I don't have a lot of sports cards. But for those of you who may know this game out there, Magic the Gathering, going towards my brothers here, I've played kind of on and off for about, this is 2024, so 9 years now. And I gotta tell you, my brothers, their collection, if you go into their room, they have just cardboard box, just an assortment, kind of how I saw your collection of sports cards in your dorm in the infamous Cobb 307.
Yep.
It's kind of pretty much like that,
yeah.
Just kind of a nice sorted collection overall, with little pieces of paper as dividers to separate each set and each edition. So I still got to sort my cards back at home, but the one thing about these cards, I mean, when they get in value, they get in value.
Yep.
And the collection that I have of Magic cards, and certainly that my brothers have of Magic cards, are probably pretty expensive.
Cool.
And
That's
pretty
cool.
valuable. So
awesome.
I unfortunately don't have a lot of sports cards, but a couple of those that just stuck out to me. And one more quick card that I just remembered about. I remember one time, I think this was in middle school or junior high or something. There was just this random baseball card laying in the parking lot. I pick it up. It's an Eddie Murray card.
Wow.
And I'm just like, who would leave this here, even though it was probably banged up from being on the parking lot?
Right.
I just like, to heck with it. I'm taking it.
Sure,
So,
of course.
There you go.
I just picked up a free Eddie Murray card laying on the ground in the parking lot. So those are a few of mine there.
Nice. That's awesome. That's what's great about sports cards and cards in general. Like you said with Magic the Gathering, it's pretty cool to have that type of hobby and passion, and that's why we love cards so much.
It's a very expensive hobby, but I love it.
Yep, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
But that is all we have for today's show, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Card Guys Season 2, Episode 14 on 91.5 The Mountain, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in Wednesday, 313 Day, as we celebrate accordingly. We're going to have some fun. Happy 313 Day to those who observe. For my good buddies, Ryan Donnelly and Michael Rosenkranz, I'm Anthony Schulte saying, so long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad. Joyce, I'm so happy that you're doing better.